The second playoff game that we will be seeing this weekend is Saturday at 8:15 on CBS. We have the 6-seeded New England Patriots at the 3-seeded Buffalo Bills. Now, this is one of the more interesting games because it is one of two in-division matchups, and we'll get to see the third time that these two teams face each other. And both of the first two games are really good. The second game was, in my opinion, the better one just because you didn't have the effect of weather. Buffalo came in needing a win to really solidify their playoff chances. If they lost, they would have fell to 8-7 and would have really put themselves in jeopardy and definitely would not be hosting this game. They would have lost the division to New England, but Buffalo came out there and they dominated them. It was the game and it was fairly close throughout, but if you watched it and you sat through the whole game, you were able to tell that Buffalo was just a step ahead. They were just the better team. But as we saw with the national championship game yesterday, rematches are very important, and I'm considering this a rematch. I'm almost going to consider this the second time these two teams are playing. Almost forget the first one. The weather was crazy, and I'm not going to discredit New England for winning that game because they did what they had to do and got the job done. But that game was hectic, and this third time around, we should have some good weather. It'll be a fair, no, I don't want to call it fair, but evenly matched, no effect of the weather. We'll really get to see what these two teams are about because Buffalo is definitely in a disadvantage in a situation where it was harder to throw the ball, even though it was in Buffalo. But New England's very fine with only running the ball. We've seen how Bill Belichick likes to operate. And a big thing that happened in this game, if you watch this matchup in Week 16, these teams ran the ball a lot, and they had a lot of fourth down conversions. There's a lot of third and shorts, a lot of fourth and ones. These both teams finished with six total fourth down conversion attempts, so three each team. I think New England went 3 for 3, and Buffalo went 2 for 3, if I'm saying that correctly. New England might have missed one at the end of the game. They're trying to come back, but I'm not going to count that. And so, as during the time of the game where it mattered, both of these teams were able to convert on fourth down, except for Buffalo at the New England goal line. And this is, in my opinion, what's going to come down to again because these teams they're very physical and they're well coached. They're not going to let you bust a 50-yard touchdown like the play that happened in the first time they played in Buffalo, where the New England ran for Damien Harris, I believe it was, ran for a 50-yard touchdown. Stuff like that's not going to happen in this game. These teams are too well coached. They've practiced for this. They've prepared. They know each other too well. Stuff like that's not going to happen. It's going to be a who can move the ball better, who can make 10-yard plays. Your 10, your 15-yarders, those are going to be your big chunk plays. You're not going to get anything more than that. They're not going to allow it. It's going to be a really good game. This is one of the games I'm more excited to watch. And I think it'd go either way. I think New England could come out. They could pound the ball. They could control the tempo. They could frustrate Josh Allen just by the amount of time he's spending on the sideline because they're that dominant with their run game. They're that physical and they're that well coached where that's something that they'll be able to do. Or I could see Buffalo coming out and kind of like they did last time, you throw all of them. New England's going to try to take away the primary option. They're going to try to take away the pass game. They're going to try to take away Stephon Diggs, so you'll have somebody else step up. Maybe it's Gabriel Davis. This game it was Isaiah McKenzie. He had a huge game. We know Dawson Knox can do some stuff. Or maybe they take away the pass completely and it's Devin Singletary that steps up. We'll see what Brian Daboll has up his sleeve. And in my opinion, I think Buffalo's going to win this game. I think both these teams are very good, but I think Buffalo's just the better team. They're the home team for a reason, and I think Bills Mafia is going to be going crazy. I think they'll have a huge home field advantage. Not that it's going to rattle New England too much because Bill Belichick seems to not care, and the entire New England Patriots organization just shows no emotion, and no matter what you do, it will not affect them. But I think they'll be slightly affected by Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to be very good. The crowd's going to be into the game. I think Josh Allen's going to have a big game. I don't have Buffalo going as far as most people do, but I think they win this one. I think they advance to the next round. I think beating New England is a huge test for them. The fact that they match it for the playoffs. Last year, New England didn't make the playoffs, and it was Buffalo's division easily. But this year, New England gave them a run for the division, and now you got to beat them in the playoffs. I think Buffalo would rather play anybody else in the first round of the playoffs, but they got New England, and I think they really got to show it. They got to prove that this is their division, and they got to do it because New England's going to be knocking on the door forever. They got Mac Jones now. You thought they were going to have a period where they didn't have a quarterback, but they found their guy, and they're coming for that division next year. Same with Miami. Like we saw them beat New England last week. Both these teams, they're going to fight. Everyone loves to try to knock off New England, and I think that's Buffalo's going to be able to do. New England's going to do the same thing and try to beat out Buffalo because Buffalo stole the division from them. But I think New England's going to be able to get it done. Or I think Buffalo's going to be able to get it done. I think they'll be able to handle New England. I think they'll find struggle in the next round. when they likely face up against Kansas City. I think that's why having the home field advantage is so important. That Kansas City is going to get to host Buffalo next weekend if that's the matchup, like I think it's going to be, because I think it's a huge disadvantage to come in Buffalo and play. I think the crowd's a huge factor. I don't think it's going to affect New England that much, but the fact that Kansas City in a potential next round matchup isn't going to have to go to Buffalo and deal with the noise, and I don't think Buffalo is going to be able to handle Arrowhead and their noise. So back to the game predictions. I'm calling Buffalo's gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be really close, but I think Buffalo's gonna pull away. I got my final score being Buffalo 30. I think it's gonna be a weird game and they're gonna find a way just to get to 30 points even, and New England 24. I think New England's gonna kick a good amount of field goals. I think they might get to 24 with sixes and eights and not just 7, 7, 7, and 3. I think Buffalo's got a good red zone defense, and New England's not that dominant in the red zone to score touchdowns every time. I think Buffalo's going to do a better job converting, and they won't put themselves in as many fourth down situations, and that's going to be the big factor. I think basically New England's not going to be able to convert; they're going to kick field goals instead of touchdowns, and Buffalo's going to score touchdowns. If I'm Buffalo, I'm coming out there and I'm starting the game running the ball, and I'm gonna prove to New England that they're gonna try. I think they're gonna come out trying to take away the pass, and I think if Buffalo comes out trying to pound the ball down their throats, that's gonna be their best option. I think if New England wants to take away the pass, they can do that successfully. But Josh Allen's mobile enough to extend plays and give guys enough times to get open. If I'm New England, I'm running a zone defense and try to confuse Josh Allen with some blitz packages, and you really just got to put them in situations where it's an obvious pass and you can drop 6, 7, or 8 into coverage and put 2 on Stephon Diggs, stuff like that, and really make sure that they're gonna not be able to get much done. I think the way to beat Buffalo is you got to get them in. You just got to get them in long down situations because they'll go for it on anything. We saw in this game that they were about to go for it in 4th and 7 due to an offsides penalty. I'm sure Belichick wasn't happy with that, but you got to put them in 3rd and 10s. You got to get them in 3rd and 15s. Stop the run. Just force them to create penalties if you're going to beat them. But I don't think New England's going to be able to do it. I think just Buffalo's just a better team. They have the better offense, and their defense can compete with. Their defense is good enough to stop New England's offense, and that's what it's going to come down to. I think Josh Allen's going to throw for at least 300 this game, and he'll probably rush for near 100 because in the playoffs you got to use your quarterback as runner. And so that's my final prediction: Buffalo 30, New England 24.